Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another video podcast of Alexandra Mayers, Just Some Thoughts. It is late where I am, but I couldn't sleep tonight, so I decided to do a little bit of meditation, and upon my opting to go into a certain state of mind, I felt compelled to put together this particular podcast specifically for a young, beautiful woman known as Candace Owens. She is incredibly popular on the political front and whatnot, especially today when it comes to a lot of the controversy and things I downright do not like in regards to this Trump administration and Trump presence. But this particular podcast is not going to be about politics. Before I began recording this podcast, by the way, I was contemplating whether or not to put this podcast under my new collection of podcasts, which I've titled Political News Time, or just to put it under my personal collection of Alexandra Mayers Live. And being that this isn't really about Candace Owens' politics, it's more about her as a person, I decided that this particular podcast should be lumped under Alexandra Mayers Live because I personally just find this particular young woman to be absolutely fascinating. I really like her as a person, considering what I've learned of her thus far and things that, or rather actions that I've seen her take simply as a human being and simply as a woman. So before I go any further, I want all of you to know that this is in no way, shape, or form an endorsement for Donald Trump or his administration. I personally consider myself a Democrat as of current. I am a big proponent for the presidential candidate Marianne Williamson, along with Elizabeth Warren. But I did feel compelled, as I said earlier, to talk about Candace Owens this evening. Now, earlier tonight, I received a little bit of a treat personally from Miss Owens in regards to her acknowledging one of my tweets. A tweet that really didn't have to do with her politics, but just that I like her as a person. And if you look at my Twitter timeline, because those of you who follow me, you know I have a very good time on Twitter. And if you look at my YouTube history and my blog history even, you'll know that in the past, and I'm sure I will in the future as well, I have criticized Candace Owens, maybe a bit more harshly than I should have, really, considering an interview that I saw of her conducted by Russell Brand recently.
Am I right in thinking that you suffered from anorexia when you
That's
were
correct.
younger?
Yes, I suffered from anorexia for about 4 years.
Wow, that's pretty serious. How's your eating now?
Fine, I can't stop eating.
Now, I feel that perhaps there's a comparable that addiction is underscored by, I want to say, some certain universals, whether it's an eating disorder, sexual obsession,
right,
or obviously drug addiction, what I'm curious about is how that would be resolved, how that would end, where that would go.
Well, I had to identify the issue. I mean, what caused my eating disorder? I actually realized that, I went through this experience in high school that was classified as a hate crime.
What was that?
It was
those racist lads,
right,
was it?
Right. Well, I don't consider them racist.
What did they do?
I think that was part of the reason that I caused an eating
Go
disorder.
on. What happened?
But they left me racist voicemails, and then it became this sort. But I don't consider.
Well, that is racist.
But does that make an
individual?
But
voicemail
does
got
that
be
make
racist.
an individual racist? That's the question. Can you do something without having to carry a label for the rest of your life? Can you say something off-putting, which I'm sure you've done many times, right?
You're not
the most right.
Does that
make you a
listen to this.
homophobic? Does that make you a racist? Does that make you a sexist? Can you do do
I
an
don't think
act
I did any of the
without having
homophobics
to carry
or
a label for the
racists.
rest of your
I
life.
did do some of the sexist.
Okay. So
I hope not, actually.
that's my point. So for the situation,
because if there's no forgiveness, how are we going to
that's
improve
the
the world?
That was my problem. So they did something. It was remarkably stupid. We were also in
What
high
was
school. They left racist voicemails.
Tell me what they said.
Well, I don't think I can say those words on here.
But you can N-word your way through it.
Okay, so dirty N-word.
Horrible!
Tar and feather, that dirty N-word.
Bloody
We're
hell,
going to
mate.
put a bullet in the back of your head like we did to Martin
Jesus.
Luther King, right? Terrible
Since
stuff.
I've seen some particular interviews with her, if she ever sees this video podcast, Candace, if I ever hurt your feelings with certain things that I may have said, I do apologize. I don't agree with your politics. This is not an endorsement in any way, shape, or form for Donald Trump or the Republican Party, the GOP, or anything along those lines. But this is about Candace Owens as an individual. I really like her as a person. There's a lot of elements that I see within her that I truly admire. I think that she is strong. I think that she is dynamic. I think she could quite possibly be a genius. I don't know whether she has an audiographic or a photographic memory. I'm very curious as to that. I almost want to say that she's a certain leap in human evolution. And I'm not just saying that to blow smoke up her rear. I truly believe that. Everything from how she looks, to how she carries herself, to how she presents herself, and just how quick she thinks. It's very interesting. She's a very unique individual. But I suppose why she was on my mind really tonight, and why I felt compelled to make a podcast in regards to her, is because I rarely really tweet people who are on a certain level in society directly. But since I did see Candace Owens elect to conduct an interview with an individual who I really don't like, an individual known as Steve Bannon, I decided, all right, what's it going to hurt? I'm going to tweet her directly, right? Now, she didn't respond to any of my tweets in regards to Steve Bannon, and I wouldn't expect her to. I actually probably don't want her to. But she did respond to a tweet that I posted tonight, and it actually disturbed me a little bit in regards to some backlash that I received from people that I wouldn't expect, considering the nature of my tweet. Now, all I tweeted to her was that though I don't agree with her politics, I really do appreciate her sense of style, because I do. She dresses beautifully. She carries herself with extreme class and grace. She presents wonderfully. I don't know if she put together her own set for her show, but it's done very nicely. That table that she sits at, I used to have what I think at least might be the exact same table when I was living in Hollywood, California. And I first launched a video podcast in regards to an industry that I was once a part of. So I just like her. I really like her a lot. I think she's cute. I think that she's strong. I think that she is everything that a lot of women, regardless of their ethnicity or background, should strive to be when it comes to simply who she is as a human being trying to get through this treacherous world that we all live in. But anyways, upon my tweeting just a compliment to her, immediately some people who I suppose are political trolls attempted to diminish my compliment, and I didn't like that very much. The level of aggression and the level of honestly hate that I received because I said something nice to this young woman, I thought paralleled actually a lot of political hate that I receive online from people who support the Trump administration or who support white supremacy. And I was very surprised because the tweet that I made really didn't have to do with her politics. I actually made that known that I didn't agree with her politics. I just like her sense of style. And it made me think to myself, okay, how much is Candace actually getting bullied? Still, because she's been bullied once in the past, okay? She survived that. And the level of bullying that she dealt with when she was, I assume, a teenager, from what I can read about her history and what she's conveyed in various interviews, she survived that. It definitely shaped her political views and who she is today. But now she's receiving it again. And I don't quite understand why there's such a vast array of Black individuals in America who are in very powerful, influential positions, who could have reached out to her, and maybe they have reached out to her. Who am I to say? But it doesn't seem like many have. And yet they have the nerve to criticize her because she looked at her situation and she thought to herself, okay, I'm smart as hell. I want to stay in the game. Got to get in where I can fit in. And this group of people are willing to accept me. Why are people going to hate on her for that? Seriously. Makes me question a lot of things, actually, as someone who's been a Democrat her entire life, who has blindly believed many things about the Democratic Party, but who at the ripe old age of 40 years old is starting to reevaluate a few things. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I'm going to take the red pill or the blue pill or whatever the little motto was that Candace Owens conveyed at one point in time. But I'm the kind of person who thinks that before you make a solid decision about anything, you need to learn as much as you can about the situation. And Candace Owens, she's new on the scene, but I'll tell you, I'm going to buy her book. What's it called? It's called Candace Owens Blackout. I'll probably download the Kindle version. It says the hardcover is available February 4th, 2020. Let's see if the Kindle is available now. I'm not sure. Let's see. Oh, I think it's available right now. I'm not sure. I'll find out later and let y'all know. But I want to read her thoughts. I want to know what she has to say because, like it or not, I like it. Maybe you don't, but I like the fact that she is positioned to become a political leader. I'll tell you, if she wasn't running around with the Donald Trump administration and supporters, I would fully support her right now. I just am not able to link myself at all to white supremacy, considering things that I've gone through and still am going through when it comes to a certain level of hate. But I made a few notes that I did want to touch on in regards to Candace Owens. But before I go through my little notes, I do want to share with all of you the write-up that's on Amazon.com in regards to her book, because I think all of you who elect to follow me and who are as interested in the world of politics as I am, I want all of you to read the book too, so that we can all talk about it and chat about it together. Why not? All right, here's what it says. Political activist and social media star Candace Owens explains all the reasons how the Democratic Party policies hurt rather than help the African American community, and why she and many others are turning right. What do you have to lose? This question, posed by then presidential candidate Donald Trump to potential Black voters, was mocked and dismissed by the mainstream media. But for Candace Owens and many others, it was a wake-up call. A staunch Democrat for all of her life. She is still young, though. I'll continue. She began to question the left's policies toward Black Americans and investigate the harm they inflict on the community. In Blackout, social media star and conservative commentator Owens addresses the many ways that liberal policies and ideals are actually harmful to African Americans and hinder their ability to rise above poverty, live independent and successful lives, and be an active part of the American dream. Weaving in her personal story that brought her from the projects to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, she demonstrates how she overcame her setbacks and challenges despite the cultural expectation that she should embrace a victim mentality. Owens argues that government assistance is a double-edged sword, and that the left dismisses the faith so important to the Black community that democratic permissiveness toward abortion disproportionately affects the Black babies, that the Me Too movement hurts Black men, and much more. Well-researched and intelligently argued, Blackout lays bare the myth that all Black people should vote Democrat and shows why turning to the right will leave them happier, more successful, and more self-sufficient. Okay. I'll have to read the book, like I said, and as I do, I will, pop on here and share my thoughts in regards to it. I want to highly recommend that anyone getting to know or who's just now becoming familiarized with Candace Owens take a look at an extensive interview conducted by Russell Brand with Candace Owens, because she does reveal a lot about herself. Actually, it was that interview, which is why I really like her. Okay? I also want a lot of you to delve into her history in regards to an online project that she founded. I think that she launched it herself, actually. It was a project called Social Autopsy. I really wish that she would have kept up with that personally. I don't know what kind of legalities were involved or why she couldn't or didn't or elected to abandon the project. But I'll tell you, that project sure as hell would have helped me when it's come to a lot of online bullying and stalking that I've contended with over the years that appears to be linked to white supremacists.
People think that the internet is like a video game, that they can go home and say whatever they want over social media and then get back to real life, which is why he's using this word livelihood. That is not the case. You are affecting somebody's livelihood with your words. When you log on the internet and you tell someone that they are disgusting, that they are ugly, that they don't deserve to live, that they are fat, you are affecting that person's livelihood. You are making that person sad. You're making that person depressed. The internet is a real thing, and just because you're typing it does not make your words any less real. What you type on the internet is a part of your livelihood, and we stand by that, and we stand firm on that.
Several years ago, when I elected to speak out about certain elements linked to abuse within a certain sect of the entertainment industry, I was extensively targeted, still am today, and I think that people who I thought had more to do with the entertainment industry in actuality had to do with white supremacy. It could have been a bit of both, or it could be a bit of both, because I have the situation in the courts right now. But that social autopsy project of Candace's really was a solution to a lot of the online bullying. And I wonder if there was a specific agenda to distract her from that. I hope that maybe she revisits that project in the future. I also want people to take a good look at her interview with Steve Bannon. I enjoyed watching it. I really did. It really showed me how quick of a thinker Candace Owens truly is. She's not just a quick thinker. She's incredibly charismatic, a little bit seductive too, more so maybe than she even realizes. She charmed the hell off of Bannon. He did try to dominate her at certain points in that interview, but he really couldn't. And I don't have to worry about her when it comes to her being quote unquote brainwashed when it comes to certain white supremacists within the Republican Party or the GOP. She absolutely is not sympathetic to that. She maybe perhaps has not ever openly said so, but I saw the way that she handled that man and I liked what I saw. Let's see, is there anything else I really wanted to touch on when it comes to Candace Owens tonight? No, not really. I hope that she does stay in communication with Russell Brand. I think that he would be a very good friend for her. Or maybe he is already a very good friend for her. I like that Russell Brand also has an extensive piece with presidential candidate Marianne Williamson. He is a mind that I really admire. So for him to have taken the time to speak to Candace says a lot about her character, really. That's about it. Again, as I close this little podcast, this podcast is in no way, shape, or form a nod or an endorsement of the Republican Party or the GOP or conservatives or anything along those lines. I classify myself as a Democrat, but I kind of wish there would be a new party. Maybe in the future I'll just be my own party because I don't even want to be an independent. I'm just Alexandra, that's all. But I do want more of my followers at least to follow Miss Owens. Give a listen to what she has to say. You don't have to agree with her, but there's so many things about her that are just downright beautiful, downright stylish. She's an amazing person, and I just felt like making a podcast to let the world know. Doesn't hurt to do things like this here and there for people who deserve it. So have a great night, everybody. Once more, I am Alexandra Mayers, and next time you see me, who knows what I'll be talking about or what I'll be up to. Good night.